All right, we're gonna call the regular meeting for June to order. I want to welcome all our visitors and everyone that's watching. While Mick is working, we'll go ahead and go along while he's working on the voting system. But we'll open with our prayer, followed by our pledge. If Councilman Reverend Woods, would you lead us in prayer?
Our Father, our God, again, we thank you so very much for all of the blessings that you've already bestowed upon us. We just pray, dear Master, that you would just allow your spirit tonight to guide us and direct us. Again, we thank you for keeping each department safe. And God, we ask now that you will bless this council and that you bless this mayor. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. You face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, call the roll, Ms. Clerk.
Mr. Golden? Here. Mr. Brown? Here. Mr. Lau? Here. Mr. McKinney? Mr. Ray? Here. Ms. Steen? Here. Mr. Wood? Here.
All right, folks, thank you all so much for working with the schedule to reschedule a meeting for tonight. So Mr. McKinney was out of town, so that's why he's not able to be with us. All right, we have one set of minutes to approve from our regular scheduled council meeting from the May meeting. Is there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Is there a motion that we approve the minutes from the May council meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Lau, is there a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Golden. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Motion carried. First on my report, I want to start by thanking two special people that I've had the pleasure of serving with as mayor, I guess, for 4 years. Well, no, it's been 6 years and on the boards and different things. First person I know, Mr. Crawford, if you would come forward, please. I know you thought you was done in here, but we pulled you back one more time. But he, as you guys know, he moved out of the city limits, I guess, probably about one parcel. Yeah, moved out of the city limits, but and stepped down about a month or two ago. And I just wanted to take the time to officially recognize him and just say thank you for his service to Bolivar, Hardeman County. I can't list all the boards. We talked about it one day, all the different boards he served on, and just say thank you. It's been a pleasure and an honor working with you. And I say we'll miss you, but I know you're still gonna be around and still gonna be calling on you to be volunteering and doing stuff for the city. So we got a little challenge coin and a little token of our appreciation here. You can decorate your new home.
You'll have to ask her if it fits the decor. You know the routine. You know the routine.
So here's this, a small town soul from Bolivar, Tennessee, and it's also one of our challenge coins here.
Oh,
So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. That's usually how long the meeting takes. I don't know why Larry would take so long getting home, but we usually be done. So, next person I'd like to recognize and say thank you for serving is Miss Carol Spinks. It's been an honor serving with you the last 4 years, and we're gonna miss you. And like I just said to Larry, I know you ain't going far. You're gonna be around and always doing stuff in the community. Pleasure is, I know, not just been mine, but this whole board, and everybody love Miss Carol. So I don't know if you want to have any words or anything.
I just want to tell everybody, even though I'm not on this platform, my platform is still out in the community. My platform is still going to be bigger than ever. And never doubt that I love each and every one of y'all. You're not going to see me here, but you will see me there. And I just want to say thank y'all. And Julian, you know I love all of y'all. All of y'all. And that's all.
We love you too. I guess y'all want me to come down there. Oh, you fussing about the fish. challenge corner here, and you can decorate your new home too.
Oh, they were made big at.
All right, a lot of events and stuff coming up I want to let you guys know about. First thing, city offices will be closed June 19th in observance for Juneteenth. You have a flyer there from the Hardin County Commission for Black History recognizing the Juneteenth Festival celebrating freedom. Will be June the 17th at Sand Beach Lake from 12 to 5. So that's Saturday. If you will come out, vendors, food trucks, JC, also known as Junior Cheers, will be performing there. DJ Captain D, if y'all know Danny Lake, he gonna be DJing. So excited about that. So y'all come and join and hang out and help celebrate Juneteenth on June 17th at Sand Beach Lake. Our special called council meeting, this will be to pass the second reading of the ordinance for the budget for our 2023-24 budget will be June 20th at 6 p.m. for a special called council meeting. Next, you have a flyer also for this there in your packet. It's called the Bring Home Back Home Gospel Concert, June the 25th on the square at 6 p.m. I know you guys probably know, I don't know if y'all know the boys, but I'm pretty sure y'all know Tanya Perry and Fred Perry. Their boys sing all over the country, and we're excited to have them singing at home on the square along with Unity of Tune. So coming out, if you want to come out and enjoy a good gospel concert, that'll be Sunday, June the 25th on the square. They also have vendors, food vendors and stuff for that as well. Then on June 30th will be our Red, White, and Bolivar celebration, fireworks celebration. Katrina Anderson will be performing at that event, as well as the fireworks. The pyrotechnics fireworks will be there along with a lot of food trucks and vendors and stuff. So excited about that. The show will start at 7:30, and make sure you get, if your sizes hadn't changed, if your t-shirt size is the same, we still got it, but if your t-shirt size didn't change, when it got smaller or bigger, get that to Carrie Beth, and we'll have a t-shirt for everybody for our Red, White, and Bolivar celebration. July 1st at noon will be the oath of office and swearing in of the new elected council members. That'll be July 1st at noon, and that date is set based off our charter. So it's always the July 1st at noon unless it falls on a Sunday. So July 1st will be Saturday, and we'll be doing the oath of office on that day at noon, and then we'll have a reception celebration probably in the community room there. So that, and then on the next, I'd like to invite our friends from SBA to come. They have a presentation that they want to give to us, so I'll yield the floor to them.
Hi, thank you so much for allowing
Yes, ma'am.
me to speak tonight. My name's Nancy Henrietta. I'm with the Small Business Administration, and I'm with their Office of Disaster Assistance, and we are here along with FEMA, where FEMA kind of comes in for the immediate emergency needs. SBA has been tasked with trying to help the community rebuild and repair any damage from the storms that occurred March 31st, April 1st. And we have two programs, and the first, it's the deadline, of course, is tomorrow, so a little urgent there, and that's for anyone with any kind of physical damage, whether it's you're a homeowner, a renter, a business owner of any size, or nonprofit. You are eligible if you've had any physical damage to your property, the structure, the contents of the home, inventory, your vehicle, anything like that. You are eligible to apply for a long-term low-interest loan. And I know loans are not the greatest, but it is what the federal government is providing for any kind of major damage that you might have had. Just to give you a sense of what the interest rates are, I need my glasses, I'm sorry. For home loans, it can be as low as 2.375. For businesses, it can be as low as 4%. And those physical damage loans, there is no interest for the first 12 months. There's no closing costs. There's no fee to apply. And you don't need to make your first payment until after the first year. So even if you are fully insured or underinsured or have no insurance, you would have an entire year to try to repay that in full without having to pay any extra over the cost of the loan. So there are some benefits to it. For anyone that's interested, we highly recommend you first contact FEMA to get on their rolls, and there may be some free money from FEMA first. If you're referred to SBA, you absolutely should apply whether or not you want the loan. Again, there's no cost. If you are qualified for the loan, that's where the assistance stops. If you are not qualified for the loan, we then refer you back to FEMA, and FEMA may be able to open up additional resources to you. So it's imperative that you follow those steps. And I realize there's only one day left for this, but God forbid if there's any future disaster in the area, just know that this program does exist. So the second program is something that the deadline is not until January 8th, and it's only for businesses and nonprofits. And we recognize that oftentimes businesses may not have any physical damage, but they do suffer economically. So if you find businesses are having trouble meeting those financial obligations, we do have working capital loans that are similar in their in the interest rates. And you have until January 8th, so you have time to kind of figure out if your business is having any kind of difficulty. I was speaking with a mayor in another county, and he readily recognized that there was a restaurant that could not open because their supplier had been shut down because of the tornado. So they weren't getting the supplies they needed and couldn't open, so they were losing all of those funds. So anything like that, or longer term, if you realize your customer base is reduced, anything like that, you are eligible to apply for one of these long-term low-interest loans. For more information, people can just go to sba.gov/disaster. And I will leave some flyers here with some additional information. Some of the flyers are for the community, like homeowners and renters, and the other stack will be for just those business loans for economic impact. But that's all. Does anybody have any questions? No?
Thank you so much. You guys have been here for a couple of weeks, probably months.
Oh,
now.
I've been here a couple months. Can't you can tell by my roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed a haircut before I came, so it's getting pretty bad.
Thank you so much for coming, and you can leave that information with us, and we'll get it out to the community if
Thank you
anybody
very much.
would like to have have it. But thank you.
Much appreciation. Thank you.
That concludes my report. Next, we'll have the electric report, or standing committee reports. And on the electric report, the BEA board met May 30th for their regular monthly meeting. The following action was taken by the board. The board approved the 2024 fiscal year budget. A 1.3 rate increase was passed for October 1st to offset the loss of TVA pandemic credit. TVA is eliminating that credit on October 1st, 2023. Concludes the electric report. Next is utilities. Mr. Knuckles.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My report, utility report for the month of June. Actually, we have a board meeting this Wednesday at noon. This is what I'm going to present to them. We're going to review and approve the 2023-24 budget for gas, water, and sewer. And also planning on discussing and reviewing, we're having to install a raw water meter at the water plant. That's still in process of being shipped. And working on the modules on the filters for the water treatment plant. Those guys showed up today and are starting. So they should be complete with that hopefully in 2 weeks. And the gas prices for this month was 65 cents. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Knuckles. Next, Fire Chief Price.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My report, fire calls, we had a total of 38 fire calls. We had 24 in the city, 14 in the county. Training hour was 184, smoke alarm installed was 11, fire code inspection 16. This concludes my report. Also want to say to Council Spinks, we, City Ball Fire Department, have really enjoyed you being a fire commission. And sometime maybe for the month, sometime in July, we'll be getting with you and maybe doing a little thing, something for you, okay? Thank you. Really appreciate you.
If you plan on eating, make sure you let the rest of us know. Next, Police Chief John.
Good evening. My council report is as follow. Calls for service 699, citations 229. We had 22 accidents, 11 injury, 11 property damage, 36 arrests, 10 juveniles, 26 adults. Special events we did was for Bolivar Central graduation, we had 174 training hours. We've also implemented some stuff for East End and involving the shootings and stuff we're having. Councilman Woods thanked me for how peaceful it was this weekend because some things that we have since implemented. We also have some stuff working with other agencies like the FBI, TBI, and I'm still going to get the Sheriff's Department helps us out too, saturating that in, and we're also going to check with the Highway Patrol to help us saturate that in also until we can get some of this tone back down. And we've also been meeting with the school board trying to get some stuff straightened out with the different sets that are in the schools. Includes my report.
Thank you.
Is it possible to have more police presence, sometimes, just in certain areas, just betting around more?
Well, no more than we did this weekend, because this weekend I had every officer that was working his shift to be down on East End. They would leave East End, go take a call and come back. So that's all I have is what you've seen this weekend.
If you went by there this weekend, it was a lot of them. Thank you, Chief. Parks and Rec, what's the fault?
Evening, Mayor, Council. Parks and Recreation reports on the following. Our city pool, since the opening, this few days have been full, and citizens are definitely coming out, taking advantage of the water. We had to turn some people away. That's just how full it's been in this first week or so. So hopefully we'll
If y'all
settle
see that
down.
extra gray on the chin, it's come from the swimming pool.
That's right. Our youth golf league will begin on this Wednesday, and of course will continue through the end of July, the last Wednesday in July. And of course we have 20 youth that'll be participating. That's a real good number. Also, in preparation for our Red, White, and Bolivar on the 30th, we'll be moving some of the fabricated material for the amphitheater that's sitting out there in the middle of the sand beach. We're gonna get that moved and get prepared for the show. And that's our report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fulton.
Yes, sir.
Next is Street and Sanitation. Eddie Vanna.
Good afternoon. We were working on that neighborhood hub building out there, and it's coming together pretty good. And July will be bulky item pickup month, and we purchased 2 new bush hogs this month.
Well, that made him happy when we got he requested that he requested that in the budget and ended up getting it before the new budget. So the guys, I want to say this while I'm done with you, Eddie, but I want to say I think he thought I was going to call him back up. I just want to say to the citizens, and y'all inform everybody, grass cutting time. Be cautious of the clippings. When I'm not talking to y'all, I'm just telling y'all to just help spread the word and get it out to the citizens. When they're cutting the grass, make sure they're cutting the clippings and putting them back in their yard, opposed to putting them out in the road. It really makes a mess when we got people that cut grass and throw the grass in the road, and it makes a mess on the street, clogs up the drains and all that stuff. So if y'all can, it's that time of year, and so we'll be getting the calls when the drains get clogged up and all that. Right, Mr. Crawford? And I also want to commend Eddie on him and Ricky. If you got a chance, please go out to the neighborhood building and look at that building. It is really, really coming along. I've been excited about it. That's all on street and sanitation. The Hardeman County Library report, you have a copy of that. So we'll move on to Mr. Watkins' compliance.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. You should have a copy of my report. Building consultations 5, building permits written 2, building inspections 3, plumbing inspections 1, mechanical inspections 1, courtesy notices 25. And we've got several things working as far as trying to clean up some stuff. Haven't done any automobiles. I forget one of you two guys asked me about that last month. Haven't done anything with automobiles this month. We'll try to get some going by next month, but we got a lot going with properties we're trying to get cleaned up. And let me say this on the neighborhood building, I appreciate the mayor mentioning that, but Eddie has put in hours and hours and hours out there, so, he don't want me to say this, but if y'all need a good carpenter.
No, let me finish with them first. I don't know how much we got left in them.
Sorry, Eddie. I just lost a friend, I will tell you. But it is coming together, but, hopefully, if there's not any kind of mishap or something, everything should be pulled together where they can move in by July 1. That's our goal. So we've been working hard trying to get that done, and so hopefully that'll all come together. We will have the slum committee meeting next month. The hearing will be after the council meeting next month. So most of you don't have to worry about that, but some of you do. So. All right. Any questions or anything?
Thank you, Mr. Watson.
All right. Thank you.
Next, Planning Commission, Councilman Gold.
The Planning Commission met, May the 15th, and reviewing consideration of rezoning 1381 West Market Street from R1 to B1. The Planning Commission forward to favorable recommendation to approve the rezoning. The lot left of the property at zoning commercial. Reviewing the consideration of the subdivision regulation amendment, 5 lots approved. This was approved by the commission. Reviewing the consideration of the subdivision regulation amendments, Nolan, Doolin test. So
Where is 1381? What property is that?
That is-
Right next to, the liquor store, Top Shelf.
top shelf.
So if you're traveling 64 west, it's the first parcel to the left.
Right beside it.
Any other questions on it? All right. Planning Commission next, EMS. I don't know if we getting Bobby or I was supposed to say the big boss is here. No, I won't get in the middle of that. So, Kevin is here.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. So before I get started with our numbers, I'd like to say that we were able to have EMS Week, May the 22nd through the 26th. This is a national week where we get to recognize EMS for their service to the community, and so we just wanted to say thank you to the community and the local businesses for supporting us during that week. And so the crews really enjoyed it and enjoyed your visit, Mr. Mayor. So in the month of May, we had 239 total responses. 113 of those were emergent, 126 non-emergency. Transports total 201. We transferred 50 patients out of Bolivar General. 49 of those went to the Jackson market. 1 patient went to Memphis. In the city of Bolivar, we made 208 scene calls and 7 calls in the county. And I added an extra line here as another metric I wanted to report on. But so I'm breaking down when we went from the scene, which is typically a residence or a nursing home, straight, to a hospital system. And so we transported 59 to Bolivar General, 43 direct to Jackson General, and 4 patients went direct from home or nursing home to the Memphis hospital. I did need to make a correction in the April numbers. I reported 22 that went direct from scene in Bolivar to Jackson General, and that number should have been 42. So I needed to make that correction for the April number, but very consistent in those from month to month from what I can see. Also, we had 5 outside ambulances from our group to come in to Bolivar to make calls. Most of those were hospital transfers when we had multiple going out at the same time. We pulled resources in to help make those. So. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin.
Any questions?
I'll let y'all know, I'll be going to the county commission meeting next month. I'm sorry, not next month, this month. And they're doing their discussion on EMS services and what they're gonna do with that. So once I know, their decision, then we will pick back up with where we are with, West Tennessee Healthcare. But we've been in, me, Kevin, Mayor Pulse, and JR, we have all been in contact the last 2 or 3 weeks, I guess now, back and forth on with that. So once I get that from them, then at the next meeting, I'll be able to tell y'all what we stand on everything. So they know that we're waiting on the county to make their decision, and that will determine where we go from here. Thank you, Mr. Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Dylan is out this month, but you guys have the tourism and community development report. That's all standing committee reports. We don't have any new business. Second reading of ordinance 23002. I guess we should have put that on the new old business, but we have the reading of ordinance 23002. This is the ordinance to increase the bid requirement to $25,000 to match the state's purchasing process, bidding process. So we passed it on the first reading last month. This is now the second reading, which we will have to open to the public for a public comment. So is there a motion that we convene into a public hearing?
So moved.
Have a motion by Ms. Ray and a second by Mr. Lau. Our votes are up now, so cast your votes to convene, to enter into public hearing. Motion carried. We're now in public hearing section of ordinance 23002. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to this ordinance? If not, there is a motion that we can reconvene into executive session.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wood, second by Ms. Spinks. Cast your votes. Motion carried. Any questions on this ordinance? Like I said, it's just basically updating our purchasing policy to match the TCA code on our bid requirements. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve ordinance 23002?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Ray, second by Ms. Spinks. Cast your votes. Motion carried. Next, we have the first reading of ordinance 23003 to amend the official zoning map for the city of Bolivar. This was the property that we just got through talking about. The planning commission made a favorable recommendation to rezone that from residential to commercial. Are there any questions on that property being rezoned? We will have to do this again on the second reading and allow for a public hearing. So anybody that call about it, you let them know that if they have any questions, they will be able to speak to the board at the next meeting. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 23003 on first reading?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Spinks. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brown. If you would, cast your votes. Motion carried. Next is the first reading of ordinance 23004 to increase sanitation rates. Give y'all a little background on this. We appointed a sanitation committee. That was Councilman McKinney, Councilman Lau, Councilman Woods. That was the right committee, right? We got like 3 committees I've been meeting with. Sanitation committee report. We got a letter from the state basically saying that we were gonna have to, we had a letter from the state saying that we had to balance our sanitation enterprise fund. They didn't say that we necessarily had to raise rates, but that's basically only way we can go about doing it. There's no expenses that they have that we can cut. But this is the 3rd year that we've been in the hole in sanitation, and basically sanitation rates have not been increased since 2009, I believe. So there's no way that any entity can operate off the same revenues that they had in 2009 today. And what we are proposing from the sanitation committee is to increase the residential rates. Right now, currently it's $10. Residential rates are $10 a month for pickup. You get 1 pickup a week, which is good. I mean, it's practically free, but $10. Sanitation committee has set the $13 rate, so an increase of $3 from $10 to $13 monthly, and then you can get an additional trash can. That one will be $7 monthly. Right now, the additional trash can is $5, and we increased that by 2 to $7 a month. on the residential side. On the commercial side, right now, I got those numbers, but thank you. Right now, the tiers are $37.50 for once a pickup a week. And when I'm talking about commercial, I'm talking about the 8-yard dumpsters, 8 cubic yards. That's the right size. And 8-yard dumpsters right now, and I'm saying this, that's how the truck picks it up. So when we talk about it, this is the commercial and that's the residential. So that's what those arm signals mean. So I won't look crazy out there. So $37.50 is right now what once a week we're increasing, proposed increasing that to $45. Right then, the $65 customers are twice weekly, proposing that they be increased to $78. The third tier is $92.50, and that's 3 times weekly, proposing that they be increased to $111. And then the 5 days a week is right now $120, and we're proposing that they be increased to $150. And with that increase, we will see enough to clear our deficit in our sanitation budget. And these rates, if you compare them to the other joining municipalities, they are significantly cheaper than what the other communities in Selmer and some of the other ones, especially on the commercial side, actually the residential side too. But to get a 8-yard dumpster picked up every day for $150 is unheard of. If you don't believe me, call Waste Management, CMP, and some of those guys. So we are still well below our means compared to other communities. So we didn't I didn't feel it was right to the citizens just to increase it to what the others are charging just because that's what they're charging. I just felt it was right that we present what we needed to cover our expense. And the sanitation committee was in favor, and I want to take a minute to commend Carrie Beth and Tasha and the ladies in the office. This has been an issue, and I'm telling you, this is not a perfect fix. This is just to help us get where we're trying to go. But we went through every customer, and you'd be surprised some of the customers wasn't coded right, and they wasn't paying what they should pay. Some was paying more, some was paying less. But now this will readdress it and put it where everybody should be. So, and also in section 2, you'll see we put this in the water rates when we increased the water rates. It's been probably 8-9 years ago now. But the rates will be set by the CPI, Consumer Price Index. So if there's an increase in the Consumer Price Index, this will allow us to adjust it. So we won't get in this situation where we're behind, and we won't have. Hopefully, if it works like the water rates, we haven't had to do a big drastic increase, since we've done that. I want to say that was about 8 years ago. Right, Larry? That was probably around that time. Yeah. So, any questions on the sanitation rates or comments, concerns, anything?
So what we paying now, $10 a month or
$10 for residential. You pay $10 a month,
Yeah,
and you'll be going to $13 a month. So you'll see a $36 increase over a year. So it's not a significant increase. And I'm going to say the wrong city, so I'm not going to say which one it is, but I think one of the neighboring cities, theirs is $19 or $19.50 a month. So, like I said, we're still well below our neighboring communities on residential as well as commercial rates. Any other questions? Or is there a motion to approve ordinance 2304? Motion by Mr. Lyles, or second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Woods. If you would, cast your votes. Motion carried. And we will have public hearing for that as well on the second reading of that ordinance. First reading of ordinance 23005 to amend ordinance 22002, budget amendment. So basically, this is us going back to go through and fix any of our lines that were over, where we overspent or we were under in revenues, anything. And before I go through any of these, a lot of this stuff was grants, got extra revenue in, or didn't get as much revenue as we expected, or had something that we had expense to come up that wasn't budgeted. But out of a $7 million budget, we only had $13,000 worth of budget amendments, and like that's unheard of, y'all. So I'll just say to all the department heads, like, good job. Like they do a good job staying within the budget, and I mean, I'm just proud of them. If you're involved in any type of government financing, you'll know that I say any kind of financing, in a $7 million budget and only miss it by 13,000 is good. And just to say thank you to Lisa and every one of the department heads, they watch their lines close, expenses and revenues alike. And some of them real tight. Some of them real tight with the money for it. And some of them like to spend, but we made it through. Any questions on those budget amendments? Like I said, a lot of those are grants that we don't know what those numbers will be. And then some of the revenues were a lot more than what we expected, and on some multiple different ones. So, any questions on the budget amendments? And Lisa does a good job. She has an explanation by every single one of them. So, but I didn't want to read through all these. So y'all have them. So if y'all have any questions, you can ask me, or I can send you to Lisa if you have any other questions. All right, if there's not any questions on ordinance 23-005, is there a motion that we approve ordinance 23-05? Motion by Ms. Spinks, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ray. If you would cast your votes. I think that was all green. Motion carried. Was that all green? Again, department, thank y'all for that, department. Like this, I'm really proud of y'all. So y'all pat yourself on the back. Thank you. Next, we have the first reading of ordinance 23-001, adopting the annual budget and tax rate for fiscal year 2023-24. Again, I want to commend our budget committee, Councilman McKinney, Councilwoman Ray, Councilman Golden, and Councilman Brown. I presented it to them, I think, last week, and they were all in favor of everything. And we worked, me and Lisa, and we all sit down and work through it together. They, as always, do a great job. So I'll just go over some of the highlights in the budget that we have here. First thing on the taxes, I talked to Josh yesterday. We haven't received our certified tax rate, so once they did the approval, the appraisals, we expecting the values to change a lot. But what we did this budget off using the same amount of money that we received last year on our sales. So what we would do is set that tax rate, and I'm expecting the certified tax rate to come in lower. So we will adopt that lower tax number. But once I get that number, we will plug that in this one to make that work. On our revenues, we are budgeting $6,938,765 in revenues, and budgeting $6,903,190 in expenditures, which will leave us with a contribution to our fund balance of $35,575. Right now, our city's fund balance is at $4,247,361. At the end of next year's budget, we're projecting $4,282,936, and that's in the general fund, which does not include the utility department, which is a standalone utility department and sanitation department. A good budget. Some of the overviews. This includes a 5% cost of living raise for all the city employees. Longevity checks, which I'll tell you guys on the cost of living. I thought I had that number of what that was. But on the longevity, that's included, And what that is, it's $100, $100 a year for every year you've been here, right, guys, like that? 25. I'm sorry, 25, $100 is the minimum where we started after you've been here for 4 years. And then it's $25 a year. I guess y'all wish it was $100 a year, especially y'all. But I'm sorry, $100 is what we start. $25 a year for everyone that's after you've been here after that 4th year, and that comes to a total of $23,000. The raises for cost of living was right at $220,000 for the raises. When you hear $4 million, you think that's a lot of money, but our payroll is right at $3 million. I think it's like $2.8 million a year. So it don't take long, for that to run out. But we have to operate off of money that's in the bank until we start collecting tax money. But our city, I'll say, is very financially sound. We do a good job living within our means. There's also an increase on health insurance of 6% on the local plus and 3% on the open access. No increase in the dental and vision. We added the training facility. Y'all know the annex building that we looked at doing the EMS building out of. We've opened that. Well, hopefully we'll be working on a grand opening for that. But that'll be our police and fire training facility. They'll do trainings there, in service, bring in other departments to work out of that building there. We included those expenditures. We estimated $15,000, have no clue what that's gonna be. We started the loan payment on the new vehicles, increased the council, the 4 that has come on in this election, they will get the increased salary amount. Updated software for the City Hall, bought Lynn a new lawnmower. He's asked for a new lawnmower for the fire department to share with me and at City Hall. The fire department cuts out the rent. So, and then the rate right now for our retirement is 12.75, which is amazing. We pay 12% of the city salaries to TCRS, and also saw a big decrease in 911. So thank the 911 board for working with us on that. So those are some of the highlights. Is there any questions about anything on the budget? I don't think I missed anything. Those were the notes I made. But like I said, it's a good budget. We didn't do a lot of capital outlay stuff because I really wanted to see a cost of living increase for the employees. Can't express it enough. In my opinion, I got the best group of employees you could ask for. They're our greatest assets. So I don't care what we do up here. If them 90 some odd people ain't supporting and making it happen, we just up here. So that was more important to me than anything, seeing that cost of living increase for them. So, which is not a lot of money, but it's something to show that we try to keep them up for as much as we can. Any other questions on budget? All right, is there a motion to approve this on the first reading? We'll have a second reading at the special call June council meeting. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 23001?
So
I'm
moved.
sorry, 006, adopting the budget. Have a motion by Mr. Golden. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ray. If you will, cast your votes. All right, motion carried. Anybody on community development? All right, is there a motion with adjourn?
You get
City
city
of-
attorney.
Oh, okay. That ain't on my paper. I guess I got the wrong one. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for that. Yes, I felt like I was forgetting something. So, I think you guys, we sent out a message that Miss Abby had to resign. She started working for a company, and I think it's a private company where she's the sole attorney for them, so she won't be be able to practice law with Snyder and Associates. Gonna miss her. She worked real well with us. You guys know she was on the firm Snyder and Associates. Kevin Snyder is the gentleman that's I think they call it the principal of that company. He reached out to me and told me that he would be more than overjoyed to continue serving the city in that space. He said he would step in and take the role that Abby had and come, he would be at the meetings, that he would basically keep the same agreement that we already have. That agreement is basically with their firm, and we would keep that same agreement. But I told him that I wanted to get that approval from y'all. He said he completely understood that. He could be here to start in July if we chose to keep him. And then if not, we would open it up to, like we do the normal process. So, and me personally, I've been working with Abby, and I've had the opportunity to know some people that work with Kevin, and he's a great guy. So, I'm not opposed to that. If that'll just be a decision that I'll need y'all's approval on to keep him. Anybody? Discussion, questions, or wanna okay with that to make a motion to keep him, keep Snyder and Associates and have Kevin Snyder as our legal counsel?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Ray, second by Ms. Spinks to continue working with Snyder and Associates and have Kevin Snyder take the role that Abby was playing as our legal counsel. Have a motion and a second, if you would cast your votes. All right, motion carried. Now is there a motion that we adjourn? Motion by Mr. Woods, a second. Second by Ms. Spinks. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.